Hey guys, what's up? So, we continue our series on Revolt of 1857, and in this lesson, we will examine all the causes of failure of the revolt. There was numerous causes. Most of us have very limited understanding, think that we did not have weapons and we did not have communication system, but the understanding goes much deeper than that. There were much deep rooted causes of why the revolt failed. Failure not in the traditional sense of the word failure, because we had a lot of positive outcomes of it, but it failed to achieve its objective, that is the overthrow of the British rule was not done. Hence it was a failure on that regard. This is presented by me, Roman Seni, and do follow me on an academy. This is the URL www.unacademy.in/user/Roman Seni. So, first of all, let's understand the background. Do you know the reason of the revolt? Yes, it was because sepoys were frustrated and all that reasons I have already told you in the video 1.2. What was the support base of the revolt? Yeah, the support base involved all the diverse classes. Okay, but again, this reason was not clear to most of them. Support base was very fragile. Half of them used to change sides very easily. Was there any planning involved? Not at all. What was their main ideology? Nobody knew. Coordination and cooperation, hardly anything. Effective centralized leadership, zero. So, can you see this background? This is required for any movement or any revolt or any rebellion or any project at all to be completed. This is the reason: planning, support base, ideology, coordination, effective centralized leadership. You take cricket for example, you take any political party for example, these are the things. You take your UPSC preparation, all this is required for any project to be completed, and everything of this was missing and it was completely lacking. Okay, is that understood? So that was the main reason why the revolt failed. But you can't just write this, you need to write more. Although this is sufficient in itself, but they'll ask some stupid questions, so let's talk about that. So everyone was harboring a grudge against someone or the other. Nobody was happy, right? There was a lack of clear enemy. Although East India Company was a united enemy, but it was something like 1977 election in Indian government, where left to right everybody united to defeat Congress, but they did not know like what is the common ideology, and they fell apart after 3 years. So there was lack of clear enemy in this case also. They were fighting amongst each other. Almost zero understanding of the colonial rule and colonialism. There was absolutely no understanding of colonialism except among very high intelligent people. And those intelligent people thought it is better to side with the British because Britishers were bringing modernization of India. That was very big. Those who understood colonialism, they thought it is good for India. And those who did not understood colonialism were fighting. Peasants considered moneylenders and zamindars as their enemies, obviously because they were paid very low. But both of them were simultaneously fighting British. So can you understand this dilemma? So peasants were fighting with moneylenders also, and peasants were fighting with moneylenders against British. So obviously there was lack of clear enemy. Now rulers and aristocracy like Nana Sahib, he was the adopted son of Peshwa Baji Rao too, and he was not considered as Peshwa, and he was kicked out of Peshwa, and then he was not even given his pension. So they were furious because their rights, lands, money, etc., all were usurped by British. But now see this thing: as soon as their land was promised back to them and their titles to the princes, all of them switched sides. For example, Mansingh was a talukdar, so he used to switch side a lot. Mansingh is not the Mansingh of earlier times. Okay, it was not Akbar wala Mansingh; he is different Mansingh. Now, moneylender also thought their business was much safer under EIC patronage, so they also supported East India Company's rule later on. Now, what are the causes of failure of revolt? Hardcore causes includes territorial spread. Was not an all India movement. I have told you earlier. Southern India, East and West were hardly affected. Okay, less than one fourth of India and less than 10% of the population was affected or involved in the revolt. So hardly anything. Many like Jodhpur, Rajputana in general, Nizam of Hyderabad, Punjab Sikh leaders in Patiala, Kapurthala, Sindhiyas of Gwalior, Holkars of Indore, they either stayed neutral or they supported Britishers. Punjab Sikh leaders did not support Britishers because they did not want. They supported Britishers. All of them either stayed neutral or supported Britishers. Especially Punjab Sikh leaders, they do not want Mughal rule to come back because they had already fought with them for a long period of time. 50% of the Indian soldiers only participated. 50% did not took part in the revolt. Okay, and they fought from the side of Britishers to crush it. When Delhi was reclaimed by Britishers, it was just 5,000 soldiers, out of what two-thirds were Indians. So can you see, we were not united ourselves, so that is why we could not succeed. So this is just a map. Can you see this brownish area? This is the actual revolt area. You can see Delhi, UP, Bihar, and some part of MP. This light blue area were the supporters of British, include Kashmir, Punjab, Rajasthan, this Hyderabad. This green area is completely neutral area, and this black spots were the states which were fighting against British. So as you can see, west, south, and east were largely unaffected. Only a very small area was involved. Now, what were the main causes? Again, lack of unifying leadership. So Bahadur Shah Zafar II was proclaimed Shenshah Hindustan, but as you all know, he was old, frail, 80s in age, weakest link of the entire thing. He was the main culprit, dependent on British pension and carried only the name of the Mughals. He was the last Mughal, and he was literally the last Mughal, and he did not have any power or authority. Local leaders like Lakshmi Bai, etc., they were good. Tatya Tope, Nana Sahib, they were good, no doubt. But they were not no match for British generals, because they had like the proper education, they had war tactics being demonstrated, and all that. So when it comes to mass mobilization of troops and displaying effective leadership, so Britishers are far superior. Then again, electric telegraph lines was there with Britishers, which had two benefits. They could communicate and coordinate better among themselves, so that they can organize and mobilize their troops much faster, much quicker. And also they can keep an eye on the movement of rebels and plan in anticipation. Okay, this is again a crucial part. And they always stayed one step ahead in the game because of just simple electric telegraph lines. Now we come to equipments. Indian soldiers, by and large, we were fighting with lathis, swords, spikes, spears. Okay, this was this was okay if the fight was going on in 13th or 14th century, not okay in 19th century. Maybe they had some few guns or muskets, but they were not part of advanced technology. On the other hand, just see European soldiers. They had much better training. They were much more organized. They used latest weapons like Enfield rifle. Do you know Enfield rifle is called Enfield rifle because it is a place near London, and not because of Royal Enfield motorcycle. I'm just kidding. It's a place near London where British Ordnance Factory was located. It was just introduced in 1853, and as soon as it was introduced and tested, it was sent to East India Company. Now, rifle, half of you might not be knowing, rather, most of you might not be knowing, rifling is a process in which you create grooves inside the barrel through which the accuracy becomes much higher. I read this in forensic medicine, and the range also improves a lot. Earlier, they were using Brown Bess smooth bore. This smooth boring is the range is very short, and the accuracy is very bad. And this was a musket. Okay, Brown Bess smooth bore flintlock musket. Sometime they may ask this name. So obviously you can see the equipment, the armor was much better with Britishers as compared to Indians. We were just fighting with clothes. And finally, the last blow was recapturing of Delhi by Britishers. Have you heard of Khuni Darwaza? It is just near Maulana Azad Medical College, just opposite Firoz Shah Kotla Stadium. So on 20th September 1857, just after 4 months of revolt, Delhi was recaptured. Okay, it was the center stage, and it was the nerve center, and it was completely crushed. Okay, the Kashmiri Gate entrance was blown. Bahadur Shah Zafar was sent to Rangoon, which is a place in Burma, erstwhile Burma, and he died after 4 years. His sons Mirza Mughal and Mirza Khidr Sultan, their upper garments were removed, they were half naked, and his grandson Mirza Abu Bakht, all three were shot on a point blank range by Hudson. This is at Kabuli Darwaza, which was developed by Sher Shah Suri. It is also called as Khuni Darwaza after that incident. Okay, and then he kept their dead bodies in front of Kotwali, means police thana, for a public display. All this lead to psychological defeat. Even then, the revolt was more or less crushed. And sepoys had complete lack of discipline. They do not know what do if they win, what they will do. They have zero understanding of phenomena of colonialism. There are almost every reason has been covered in this lesson, and I hope you enjoyed this lesson. So now you know when next time you need to revolt, what are the factors to consider. Just kidding. Roman Sani signing off. Thank you for watching this lesson. Have an awesome day.